Hello and welcome to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ET Edge. I am Ashwani Mishra, bringing to you conversation with CXOs over a cup of chai as they share some interesting insights around their personal and professional journey, their leadership traits, hobbies, and other such engaging topics. Joining me today is a very special guest, an avid trekker, a passionate photographer, and someone who runs a noble initiative to educate and empower girls in the lower socio-economic areas. In his corporate avatar, he is the managing director at Perfetti Van Mel India. Welcome, Rajesh Ramakrishnan on Cutting Chai Stories.
Thanks, Ashwini. Thank you for having me in this. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to host you, Rajesh. For over 25 years, you have worked across household care, foods and beverages, manufacturing, media, and now in the confectionery industry. More often than not, we have seen that the secret recipe for success is our own creation, self manufactured, and for our own consumption only. What have been your ingredients for success over all these years?
Yeah, I think we all grow and evolve over the course of our life journey. And for me, the seeds were, I think, sown when I was in Chennai during my growing up years. I come from a very typical Indian middle class, family, and with very humble beginnings. And what education in Chennai does is it instills a certain set of values in you, which stands you in good stead through your life,
True.
which is
Yes.
of hard work, commitment, dedication. So some of those values during those days and discipline, of course, I have stood me in good stead even today as I've grown in my career.
Right, right. Can you walk us through your childhood? Rajesh, you touched upon it, your schooling and lessons that you learned early on, which have stayed with you till date.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, the interesting part was I studied in the same school pretty much from grade 1 to grade 12. So it was limited exposure in terms of what was happening around, etc. But what it was good about it was it gave me an opportunity to create some strong friendships which have lasted even all these years, 30, 35 years after that. So I think
Right,
I was fortunate from that perspective. School was very close by, so it was a easy 10-minute walk to school. And of course, like any boy growing up during those days, ended up playing a lot of street cricket. And I was also passionate about racket sports like table tennis and badminton.
okay,
And
okay,
after having done 12 years in the same school, my first exposure to outside was when I went to BITS Pilani to do my engineering. And
right,
that again opened up a completely different world for me, because from being taken from a middle class Chennai kind of a background to go to Pilani, where you met people from pretty much all parts of the country.
true.
My first exposure to Hindi as a language, different cultures, different food habits, and so on and so forth. That was a fascinating and great learning experience. Apart from learning about engineering, I ended up learning a lot about life as well.
What would be the couple of defining moments, Rajesh, that have shaped you and made you what you are today, maybe personally or in your career?
Definitely, I would say my student experience in BITS Pilani and later in XLRI Jamshedpur, because like I mentioned, what it opened up was a whole new world in
World,
terms of
right.
just getting diverse perspectives, meeting people from different parts of the country, again creating those friendships. So I think that definitely was one defining factor, I would say. The other one was when I joined Reckitt and Coleman in those days.
That was your first job, I believe.
That was my first job.
Right.
And like any other case, typical posting is in sales posting, and I was actually posted in initially in Orissa and then in Bihar. And I'm talking about Bihar in 1990s, when it was still one Bihar and there was no Jharkhand, right?
Right, right,
No mobile phones, no internet, no television beyond Doordarshan, kind of a situation where you are in some, out of B school, and you are in
right.
some far-flung state, cities in Bihar. And it teaches you a lot about life and how to navigate through life more than the sales part of it as well. So I would say
I
that
know.
was another very defining phase in my life. And the third one I would say was when I went to Bangladesh on my assignment with Perfetti in
Right.
2014, where I went there as general manager, stayed there for 3 years. Again, a country which I had not visited in the past, didn't have too much knowledge on, but absolutely fantastic place to work in, some really lovely people, and again, form some great friendships there over the course of the 3.5 years. So I think these would be two, three, defining phases in my life and career.
And did you also have a mentor or a career coach during the early phase of your career, Rajesh? So anyone who has had a consistent influence on you?
Yeah. So Ashwini, on that, I wouldn't say I've had a consistent mentor as such, but what I can talk to you about is a few leaders who have inspired me, right? And what I have picked up from them. So the way I have looked at leaders and mentors is looking at them to see what are the good things that I can pick up. And of course, in some cases, what are some of the not so good things which I should not pick up. So I think
Right.
it sort of work both ways. But to quote a few examples, I think Indra Nui, the ex-chairman of PepsiCo, is somebody who I really look up
Look
to.
up to.
What I picked up from her is, her ability of what she called performance with purpose, right?
Right.
So it's very, very important for the business to perform what it's supposed to do in terms of growth, of sales and profits.
True.
But she also made sure that it came with a sense of purpose, our purpose towards environment, our purpose towards community, our purpose towards people. And that's something that I've learned over the years, and I very actively try and practice that in my role today as well. So that's one example. Another example I can talk about is Harsh Mariwala, who's again the chairman of Marico.
Marico.
Again, very, very humble beginnings. He used to, I believe, sell coconut oil, literally as a one-man show very, very early in his career, to have built such a great company today. And a couple of things about him which I admire are humility. No matter what level you are in, if you are able to demonstrate that humility and vulnerability, I think that's a great place to be in. And the other piece is his encouragement of prototyping innovation. You know,
Mhm.
try
Right.
out a few things, try it in a small area. If it works, great. If it does not work, take the learnings from that and move on. But that should not stop you from trying new things. So I think this again is something that I picked up from him, and I try and do that in my role as well.
Right. Reversing the question, Rajesh, how do you lead your team? And what are some of the valuable lessons that you can share around mentorship or, building the pipeline within your business?
Yeah. So one interesting quote I came across very early in my career, and I try and live that quote on leadership. A good leader is one who inspires the confidence of the team in him or herself,
Right.
right? But a great leader is somebody who inspires the confidence of the team in themselves, which means
Very
that the
well said.
team
Yes.
can perform at a very high level even without the leader. And I think that's a great way of describing a great leader. So again, that's something that I live by in my life, where I'm able to effectively delegate to my team so that they are able to perform at one level higher, which actually allows me to perform at one level higher. And as a result, the entire bar gets raised.
Raised.
Yeah. In terms of leadership mantra, there are three things which I think leadership is all about. And one way of defining it is your ability to set the agenda, ability to take others along with you, and doing it the right way. So if I look at the first and the third, they are relatively easy to do.
Right.
Setting the agenda is about having a vision and a clear direction where you want to go. Doing it the right way again is something that hopefully all of us do it the right way in terms of ethics and integrity and all of that. I think what separates leaders is the middle part, which is ability to take others
Take
along
others.
with you. Yeah.
Right.
So a few things which I do there is, one, how do you involve your team upstream rather than downstream? The
Right.
earlier on in the discussion that you're able to involve the team, the more the discussions, but the greater the quality of discussions, which reflects directly in the quality of the outcome as well. So that's one thing that has really helped me. The other is having a growth mindset,
Right.
always asking the question, how can I do this, versus asking a question, can I do this? Because the minute you start with can I do it, there is a possible answer which says no. But if your question is how can we do this, then no is usually not an answer.
True. Yes. Very well said and very well explained, Rajesh. Sure. So, apart from the corporate mandate, you are also on a mission to empower and educate girls in the lower income group of society. How did it start, and what kind of work that you have all been doing around it?
Yeah. So it's an initiative called My Daughter is Precious. It actually started in 2016 when we were in Bangladesh. So my family, my wife, and my daughter, who was 13 at that time, she came back from school one day and said, we saw this documentary called Girl Rising, which talks about 65 million girls don't have the privilege of education in the world. And that sort of touched her at some level, and she wanted to do something about it. Now,
Right.
one of my passions is photography, and what I said was, why don't we put photography to good use to promote gender equality. So we, my family, and in fact we used to take our maid from our house because language was a bit of a barrier.
Right. Right.
So we used to go to underprivileged areas in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, and take a Polaroid picture of the father and their daughter, and
Okay.
give the Polaroid picture to the father and say that, your daughter is as precious as your son. Treat her well and give her a good education. So that's how we started this whole initiative. And we used to do stories around the daughter, their lives, who are their friends, what would they like to study, when they grow up, what would they like to become, and so on and so forth. And the intent was to create awareness for gender equality. So we used
Right.
to
Right.
have a page called My Daughter is Precious, and we used to post our stories there. But then as we went along, we realized that, of course, this is nice. But what is more important is, can we tangibly make a difference in their life through some material contribution?
Right.
So
Right.
then we changed our model, we evolved our model a little bit to today, where we support about 24 girls. We see them through their 3 or 4 years of college education.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the,
Okay.
the challenge comes when the girl is about 16, 17, 18, when the family decides that she's better off when if she's married, and they don't want to invest in her education, because primary education is largely free and taken care by the government.
Right.
So what we do now is we pick deserving girls from who are interested in pursuing a college degree, and we crowdfund money, and we pay directly to the college so that the money does not fall into the wrong hands,
Right.
and thereby we support the higher education of the girls. And my wife runs a mentoring program for them, because one of the important things is also, how can we mentor them,
True.
what
Yes.
kind of course will give them what kind of job, and so on and so forth. So she runs the mentoring program. I do the bit of an administration and the sourcing of funding, and my daughter is the founder of this initiative, and we run this together as a family.
Very inspiring, Rajesh, and very noble initiative that you have been working on. So, do
Thanks.
you also partner with NGOs here, or apart from the crowd funding model? So, any partnerships that you have with NGOs?
Yeah. So we partner with an NGO called Shiksha Dan. It's again run by a wonderful couple, Krishnan and Bindu. So what they do is they take care of all the logistics issues. So the money is collected in a corpus under Shiksha Dan, and we tell them which student needs to be paid fees for which semester, and they do the the payment of the fees, the getting of the receipts, passing it on to the donors. So they take care of the administrative work around it.
Right, 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 right. You touched upon photography, Rajesh. How and when did you fell in love with the camera? How did it all start?
Well, it started about, I think, 17, 18 years ago when I was in Bombay, actually. We're working for Marico. A friend told me that there is a workshop happening. Why don't you come along? So I said, okay, let me go see what happens. And I think there's been no looking back after that. It started as a hobby. And I think over the years, it's grown to be a very, very strong passion. To me, photography does a few things. I think it, gives me that positive energy whenever I need it. It allows me to travel to places which I would have never thought of traveling. And I'm an engineer, and it allows me to explore my right side of the brain and
The
express my creativity in many
the
ways.
inner
So,
creativity, and
absolutely.
does it also help you to more meaningfully engage with the world around you, Rajesh? That's something that's very essential, with photography.
Absolutely, absolutely. It because it, like I said, it takes you to places you would never think of going, to meet people who you would have never met. So it's fascinating from that perspective as well.
Any memorable photographic experiences that you want to? I believe you've done some calendar shoot as well, Rajesh,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Ashwini, I could keep talking about it
I
for
know.
hours. But yeah, actually, what I did was about 10 years ago, I decided, let me put my photography and passion to also good use. So I started by shooting calendars around a theme with celebrities. So I did about 7 calendars. And each time I shot a calendar, I put it together, sold it, raised money, and contributed to a charity.
Okay, okay. That's again, very noble and good way to give that impact. You've also been an avid trekker, Rajesh. What are some of the most important lessons that you could share from trekking and climbing, and also share, which all places have you trekked and been to?
Sure. Actually, trekking to me was not in my radar at all till about 5 years ago. And then a friend of mine said, there is a bunch of people going to Everest Base Camp. Why don't you also let's also go? And to me, trekking actually was getting myself out of comfort zone in many ways. Actually, I'm scared of heights. I'm
Oh,
scared
okay,
of
okay,
flying in aircraft. So in many ways, this was actually letting me come out of my comfort zone. And I said, okay, let's sign up. And actually, my first ever trek was trek to the Everest Base Camp in 2016. And once I went there, I realized that it was such a fascinating experience because for 12 days, you're just walking, you're with nature. You don't have your network there. Mobile phones are not working. So you get your nice detox. And you also meet such interesting people out there. You stay in very simple places, eat simple, wholesome food. The experience was absolutely fascinating. And then that got me to say that every year I will go on a trek to one place. So the next year I went to Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And
right.
after that, I did Annapurna Base Camp and also Spiti Valley. So I've done about 4 or 5
Four
treks
of
so
them.
far. And to me, the learnings are one, there is very little we can get by with. We are all material people. We think we need a lot of stuff to keep us going. But actually, what you need is a clean bed, a clean loo, and simple, wholesome food. And if
Right.
you have
So,
some good company along with that, and if you're in the middle of nature, nothing like it. And the other thing is, for example, when I was in Kilimanjaro, the philosophy of the locals is anything you go to them with, they'll say, Hakuna Matata. No problem,
no
will be
problem.
taken care.
Right.
Right? It's again a very simple philosophy that no matter what the problem is, if you think of it as a problem, it becomes very big. But if you
True.
think of it as something that you can work around, it's not a problem. Yeah. So again, there have been many lessons from these various trips, and each of them has been a very memorable experience for me.
And these experience you apply them in business as well, Rajesh. I'm sure
Oh,
about it. And so,
absolutely, absolutely.
right, Rajesh, thank you for sharing your story, lessons, and valuable thoughts. I stand immensely inspired through this conversation with you. I'm sure our viewers find the same. Wishing you the very best for Perfetti, and also may you further drive the success of My Daughter is Precious. It has been
Thank,
a pleasure speaking with you.
thank you so much, Ashwini. Thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.